Despite success, are you still not as happy as you should be? Well, let's talk more about that. From early on, we're taught that if you do the right things and you become successful, that your happiness will arrive automatically. And we believe that success and happiness come as a package deal. Well, if you're listening to this video, you probably feel like you only got half of your package and you're still waiting for the other half with your happiness to arrive. But you've been misled. Because what you've been taught about happiness, well, it's just not true. And what you're believing about happiness is just a magical fairy tale. And the fairy tale goes something like this. If you work hard and do the right things, and then you grow up someday to become successful, then one day you will win the prize. And the prize is that you get to ride off into the sunset and live happily ever after. Well, it's the smart, successful people who are hit most hard by this fairy tale because you worked especially hard and made the sacrifices, took the risks, and pulled it off. You achieved a level of success, but your happy ending isn't showing up the way you're expecting it to. And you're likely to be on a hamster wheel, hoping that more success will be your answer. And everything on the outside looks great. And really, on so many levels, your life really is great. And you know you should be happy. But once you reach a certain level of success, you lose the privilege of being unhappy. It's socially unacceptable. You're only allowed to be unhappy if you're struggling or when things don't work out. Well, now imagine, rather than basing your happiness on a silly fairy tale, that you are able to rely on a simple, reliable method that yields predictable results. Well, my name is Sherry Goldman, and that's exactly what this video is all about. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you a simple method to self-induce happiness on demand. And it's a method I have successfully taught to thousands of people. And I'm also going to shed light on what makes happiness so mysterious and hard to achieve, especially for people who have accomplished success in their lives. But I first want to let you know that I walk the walk. I use every bit of this process myself, and I have watched my own life become happier and happier. But for way too many years, despite lots of success, I just couldn't get happy and stay happy, and I tried everything. So I found myself on a mission to learn everything possible about happiness. And I spent 20 long, grueling years searching for answers. But what was mind-blowing about what I finally discovered is that becoming happy is so darn simple. It's just not what I was expecting. And now, as a psychotherapist and happiness expert for decades, I've been sharing what I've learned with thousands of people. And I have helped many, many clients. Many of them learn these simple happiness tools and they just run with them. Their change really starts to happen almost immediately. They are the happy on demand people. But then there is the second set of people. They learn the same easy tools, but they remain stuck and unhappy, and they are the happy wannabe people. Well, let me share with you some key differences between these two sets of people. The happy wannabe, they hold on to the belief that their goals and accomplishments will eventually bring them happiness. They don't realize that they're using ineffective, magical thinking. They have a long to-do list, but happiness is never on it. But relying on your to-dos and your accomplishments for happiness, well, that's as risky as gambling on your happiness. The happy wannabe works hard, analyzes, figures things out, and they think that goal setting and creating happiness are the same thing, when in fact they are two different things entirely. So they do a lot of waiting and hoping. that happiness will come when that good thing happens. And they dangle happiness as the carrot for motivation, but they don't often get the carrot. And then once the thrill of an accomplishment or an achievement fades, so does the happiness. So they end up searching and wishing for their next experience of happiness. Now, in contrast, the happy on-demand person, well, they never wait. They know that happiness is their key to success, so it is always their first priority. They learn how to create happiness, and then they self-induce it all day, every day. To them, it's the only thing that makes sense, because their ability to create happiness is their key to success. So they make sure to get really good at it. They know the wisdom of working happier, not harder. So self-inducing happiness on demand becomes their lifestyle. Let's now shed some light on what makes happiness so darn mysterious and elusive. Well, for starters, we have lots of negative beliefs and attitudes about happiness. Here's some of what I mean. Well, for starters, happiness is not silly or self-indulgent, and it will not make you lazy. And that is absolutely not real. That's just nonsensical, mythical, magical stuff. The truth is that prioritizing happiness is actually one of the wisest things you can do. And rather than just tell you more fairy tale about this, let me tell you some hardcore information to back this up. The experience of happiness optimizes your overall functioning, and that includes your thinking, your creativity, your coping, your mindset, and even your health. You will perform at your very best when you are happy. Sure, stress, pressure, and worry, yes, they motivate you, but they do not optimize you. In fact, they do the opposite. And it's just not true that lasting happiness arrives as the outcome of hard work and success. If you do get happy, it will only be in brief blips. Happiness is a skill. And because it's a skill, it's something that you can actually learn. It is not your right to be happy, but it is your right to make yourself happy. The skill of happiness can be straightforward and simple. Most anyone can learn it. It's never too late, and you are never too old. Now, another powerful aspect about creating your own happiness on demand is that your skill can improve over time, and so that means life can keep getting happier and happier. When you learn the skill of self-inducing happiness on demand, the feeling is lasting. And you can easily create your happiness anywhere, anytime, and it won't ever take extra time. All of this just makes so much sense. But without the skill to create happiness, no matter how much success you have or how much money is in your bank account, you won't get it. But when success-minded people learn how to self-induce happiness on demand, they in particular become great at it. And this is because success-minded people hate to settle. They love getting results, and they thrive on making things happen. And so when they learn this method of self-inducing happiness on demand, and it yields reliable, predictable results, their lives catapult to an entirely higher level. Now, of course, I do not expect you to hear me say all this on this video and that you will just believe me. That's not real, and it's not how happiness works either. Happiness is an experience. So once you start creating your own happiness on demand, well, then you can start trusting your own amazing results. When you learn this skill, happiness is no longer mysterious. In fact, it's clear and straightforward. And once this click happens, it is permanent. But without a reliable method, happiness will remain like that itch that you just can't scratch. And when a results-oriented person can't fix things, oh, do they suffer. Now, there are 2 additional exponentially wonderful, amazing benefits about learning how to self-induce happiness on demand. The first one is, it creates a unique kind of confidence, and probably the highest level of confidence possible, because you just know you can make yourself happy anywhere, anytime. And the second benefit is that you get to live in optimism. You get to live knowing that your life is going to keep getting happier and happier because you have a reliable method that yields predictable results. And because of all of this, it becomes your lifestyle. Let me tell you a short story about Steve. He was a top-level sales director at a high-profile firm, and he traveled around the world negotiating deals at a thrilling, high-paced level. He earned over $1 million a year, and he had an awesome family. Everyone was wonderful and healthy, and he lived in a beautiful home. On the outside, his life was perfect. When I met him, he knew he should be happy, and he was embarrassed that he wasn't. But he was feeling disillusioned at work, and he was often really distracted while he was with his family, and he was really beginning to wonder about himself. So he started to learn the skill of self-inducing happiness on demand, and things clicked. He realized that believing his happiness should automatically be coming from his success, well, it was leading him to work like he was a superhero. But he was a superhero who hadn't learned how to stop and smell the roses. He was living in this trap of knowing his life was amazing, but not knowing how to enjoy the amazing life he created. So he began to self-induce happiness on demand. And that meant that he privately, no one knew, he privately began to prioritize his day differently. He was totally into optimizing his performance level, and he kept happiness first on the list. Well, within a couple of months, 2 great surprising things happened. 1, he got promoted, and 2, he got offered this amazing new job. And he described the choice and choosing between these 2 really great opportunities with this deeper sense of confidence, because he knew first that his ability to make himself happy was his new secret sauce in life. And at home, he marveled over how much fun he had roasting marshmallows with his kids and making snowmen in the backyard. Now, this is when life truly becomes unstoppable. If you have success, but hate to admit that you still aren't happy, well, I'm happy to say that you are in the exact right place, because you will love what I have to share with you. The top people I work with are those individuals who are ready to leap to a new level of happiness. Because the word settle, well, it's not part of your vocabulary. So if you are ready to learn how to self-induce happiness on demand, if you're ready to optimize your life with a reliable method that produces predictable results, where you can self-induce happiness on demand just because you want to, well, then you are absolutely in the right place. We just don't learn these tools in school, at work, or in life, but you can learn them now. It's never too late. So if you feel like this is right for you, then your next step is to click on the blue button below and set up a 30-minute happiness strategy session. In that 30 minutes, we will talk together and we will figure out what's missing from your happiness skill set and what you need to be able to create happiness on demand with predictability. Now, this course isn't right for everyone. We have to be a good fit, and I'm not going to rah or cheerlead anyone into happiness. That's just not what the course is. This course is really more like a nuts and bolts, nitty-gritty, how to get happy course. At the end of the call, if you're a good fit, I will extend an invitation for you to work with me. And if it's not a good fit, well, it's totally okay too. No hard feelings. There are no obligations. But no matter what, you will have had a valuable 30-minute happiness strategy session. You'll walk away with some newfound clarity as to what's holding you back from becoming more happy. So, if you feel like this is right for you, then go for it. Apply now. Click on the button below and set up your 30-minute happiness strategy session.